Today, we're going to dive into a single, pretty powerful poem by Walt Whitman that could totally change how you think about the word miracle. So, forget about those grand supernatural events for a minute and get ready to find a little wonder in your everyday life.
Okay, let's just start right there. Seriously, when you hear the word miracle, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it some huge, rare, almost unbelievable event? Yeah, hold that thought.
So, on one side, you have the common view, right? Miracles are these big, supernatural things that are almost impossible to explain. But what if there's another way to look at it? A view that suggests miracles are actually all around us, all the time, just waiting for us to pay attention. And that's the idea we're digging into.
All right, so let's officially kick off our journey into rethinking the miracle, and our guide is one of America's most revolutionary poets. This is the line that kicks the whole thing off. It's from Walt Whitman's poem, Miracles. And it's such a bold statement, isn't it? He's not just saying, oh, miracles exist. No, he's saying he knows of nothing else but miracles. Okay, so what in the world does he mean by that?
Well, to really get what he's saying, you have to look at the examples he gives. He doesn't point to ancient texts or some parting of the seas, he just points to the world that's right in front of him.
And first up, he finds them right in the middle of the bustling city and in the simple act of just being around other people. Now, this was pretty radical for poetry at the time, which usually focused on, perfect, untouched nature. Just notice how normal these moments are. Walking down the street, eating dinner, looking at a stranger on your commute. For Whitman, the miracle is the very fact that these experiences are happening. That shared space, that quiet, anonymous connection with other people. But of course, he doesn't just stop with the city. He then turns his attention to the natural world. But again, he finds the miracle not in some giant, epic landscape, but in the small things you can actually see and observe.
You see, he's not talking about some mind-blowing astronomical discovery. He's talking about watching bees work, seeing a sunset, noticing that tiny little sliver of a new moon. And this just brilliantly makes his point. These aren't just pretty scenes. They're these intricate, amazing systems of wonder that we so often just take for granted.
So you have to wonder, right? Who was this guy who saw the world this way? To really get his philosophy, it helps to know just a little bit about the poet himself.
Whitman's life spanned this really transformative time in American history. He actually self-published his masterpiece, Leaves of Grass, back in 1855, and then spent the rest of his life rewriting and adding to it. And what's really crucial here is his experience as a volunteer nurse during the Civil War. That put him face-to-face with the raw, everyday realities of life and death, and it completely shaped his perspective.
And to write about all this, he needed a new way of doing things. Whitman is often called the father of free verse. He basically tossed out the old rules of strict rhymes and rhythms. Why? Because he wanted his poetry to sound like America itself. Sprawling, energetic, free. It was the absolute perfect style to capture the miracle of a normal conversation or a simple walk down the street.
So when you look at who he was, a poet for the common person, a journalist, an essayist, a humanist, it all makes sense. He wasn't some academic hiding in a university. He was out there, deeply engaged with the world. All these different roles gave him this profound appreciation for ordinary people and for ordinary life. So this brings us all the way back to the main idea. How do we take this poem from the 1800s and actually apply it to our own lives, right here and right now? And this is where the poem just explodes in scale. Whitman zooms out from the bees and the strangers on the car to the absolute grandest scale possible. Time itself, every single hour, and space itself, every single cubic inch of it, is a miracle. The point he's making is that the potential for wonder is literally inescapable. It's everywhere. And that, right there, is the real takeaway. Whitman isn't describing some other magical world. He's describing our world, just with a different way of looking. The miracle isn't the thing you're looking at, it's your ability to actually perceive its wonder. It's about shifting from just passively looking to actively seeing. And this is how Whitman ends his poem. He flips the question right back on us, the readers. He's laid out his list, the city, the animals, the stars, but then he asks this, implying there's so much more out there. So the question he leaves us with, and the one I leave you with, is this: what miracles are you going to notice today?